if you take anything from it, it is that data is the key to your future. It's not AI, it's data. And data will fuel AI, and data will fuel your operations. And if it fuels your operations, it fuels sales, revenue, and again, happy customers, happy employees. It should be doing all these things. Data is the fuel. So I tried to be very prescriptive with that. I tried to say, there's a lot of talk in the market in a buzzy buzzword kind of way about customer data platforms and marketing automation. Let's just get right to it in terms of why some enterprise software companies are coming into automotive in this case. Why are they coming? Is because they've identified a gap in the marketplace, and that is things that have been proven in other industries. Automotive itself, most people that I know that are in that vertical will admit or volunteer unsolicited and say, hey, we're usually laggards. We usually adopt things a little bit later than other people do, other industries do. And I think that's, I was excited to share, not specific software companies. I mean, we talked about two of them, actually 4 of them that we work with. And we talk more about the principles of it, right? The principles of taking 100% of your data, resolving it and structuring it. And the amazing things that machine learning and just general clean, accurate data can do to improve your operation today before AI. And then once you do that, once you're understanding and able to glean the benefit from having that clean, accurate data, then you're in a position to where you can build AI that you control, and you can capitalize on open source software. And coincidentally, in the same time frame, OpenAI announced that they needed to catch up to Meta, who has dominated the open source AI market for the last 2.5 years with their Llama family of models. And OpenAI suddenly said, hey, we're going to give you open weight models that you can put in securely your environment, your cloud, your computer, and don't worry about it sharing any data back with us because it's yours. Come and get it and have AI your way where you need it. That open source reality is not just there with OpenAI. It's in about 30 or 40 different directions where it's been proven with different vendors, a few people in a coffee shop who've been working on something for years. And this is the grand opportunity for businesses to own and control their trajectory instead of being dependent on things that they can't control, and that otherwise they would be left high and dry if they go out of service, they go out of business, or they're interrupted or they're disrupted. And that's my point, is you need your data first and foremost, and then you need AI that's your AI, trained on your data, and that way it's on brand. It uses the customer's voice, the employee's voice, and all your business signals, not something that was trained on everything on the internet. Not that that's not good and useful, but your business is what we're trying to move left to right and up from down. And as we do that, we have to have technologies that we have more control over and data that we own and we have more control over.
Within your day-to-day functioning, you deal with a lot of clients, you operate as an advisor. And so you mentioned the word consultant earlier. I know the first time I met you, we spoke so much about the different types of advisory roles you've played throughout your career, and literally sharing stories with me about particular dealerships and how you were able to, through advisory services, improve sales and drive customer loyalty. So I'm very interested to hear, as somebody in your position who has the experience and the earned experience that you have, how do you approach what is now upcoming event season? Because obviously events are so much more than standing on a stage and talking about your business and your product. I think in our industry specifically, the need to educate remains the number one need. And I think that taking complex ideas to the masses is so important. If we think about it, it's something that I really had to learn. But dealers are at their dealerships, they are selling cars, they are working with their teams. A lot of the conversations we seem to have around technology, I often wonder to myself, do those conversations actually reach the people that they need to reach? And so it's a pivotal part of not only your business strategy, but of your legacy as Tim, to impart the information that you work so hard to gain and so hard to chisel and to create a sort of perspective on. So talk to us, sorry, I'll go back to the question. Talk to us a little bit about the upcoming event season, where you're going to be and what you're going to be speaking about.
Well, talking about more of the same, and maybe taking different vantage points of what does it take to deploy and how much do you need to budget? That sometimes that's what I think is the way to start the talk, and then better yet, what are you paying for? And then what can you get out of it in terms of ROI and return? All the technologies that we deal in, and we've been aware, we've been able to see this happen since about 2018. These are things that pay for themselves, right? These are things that allow you to reduce your operational costs, to cut down your media expenses, and better yet, just show you what's working, what's not working, so you don't throw good money on bad. And of course, the outcomes in terms of revenue growth, in terms of repeat purchases, and what can be calculated on the back end in terms of wider profit margins. If you're reducing expenses and you're increasing revenue, guess what happens? Your profit margin goes up. That's a good thing, without having to say we have to sell 5 times as many units, oil filters or cars next month. To say that, hey, we're on a trajectory right now at 5% per month, growing our profit margin, so maybe we don't have to sell 10% more of inventory, whatever that inventory may be, because it's not always cars, right? There's a huge focus, and Dave Foy is one of the people who's focused on it. Fixed ops, right? That's really the lifeblood of the car business in many ways. So at these conferences, the NCM and Associates, Arrowhead Stadium, colleagues and friends in early September, I'll be there, and I'll talk about the title of the talk is Your Data, Your AI, Your Future. We've already said enough already, but that's what this is about, right? Your data, your AI, your future. The week after that, I'm in Dallas at 10RecX, which is a group that we belong to as just a strategic partner of folks that do a lot of work with enterprise companies in terms of digital transformation. And I'll be there delivering a very similar talk in terms of what we do, but better at what does it provide? What does it enable you to do? And then I think there's several events that we haven't made our decision where we're going to go next. I've been invited to speak at a couple of different of our CDP vendors, big conferences that they have in October. Some are regional, some are like the Lunch and Learn variety, and some are their big end of year conferences. And there's a couple of digital marketing conferences that we just haven't committed to yet in that late October, November timeframe. But we'll be on the road a lot. And I think for us, it is going to be more of the more intimate lunch and learn type conversations, for the simple fact that I think everyone has a lot of questions. Everyone would appreciate the opportunity, seemingly they appreciate, to have much more intimate conversations about this. They want to talk about what's working in their business, what's not, what they've been told by their vendors, and what they agree with or what they have questions about. And so we're about having smaller, more manageable conversations, more direct conversations. And when we're not on stage, or sitting at a booth with a banner behind us, we're doing a whole lot of one-on-one education, workshopping with prospective clients and current clients, because the things that are happening this month are a lot different and moving a lot faster than they did last month.
I think that is a brilliant answer. Most certainly, because these are the questions that I can imagine people really want to know. Where do I start? How much does it cost? What's it going to set me back? What are the projections going to be? So I can really appreciate the fact that this is a conversation that you have that is direct, that is intimate, and really is a conversation as opposed to a high level overview of a topic, which I think data and AI can often be, because it can be so general. And I think a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with it, there is absolutely a space for general education. But when it comes down to committing to something like cleansing data, aligning everything internally, and employing the right technology in the right way, I think that in itself is complicated enough that really to have a partner that's willing to sit down, look you in the eye, and tell you what you need to know is going to be absolutely revered by everybody. So I think that's a really good choice. In terms of the rest of this year, is there anything else that you would like to add? Anything that we haven't discussed yet that you think is important?
It is the end of the year. It's what people across industry call the golden quarter, right? This is in both B2B and in consumer marketing. This is the quarter where most organizations will realize a majority, maybe not more than 50%, but still a majority of their revenue for the year is going to land between September and December, right? And I think we have to respect that what companies are going to do in that time frame. And this is, I think, for anybody watching this, your competition is going to invest in their data and in AI that they control, not just coin operated or $20 a month or $200 a month or $50,000 a year enterprise public models, which isn't wrong, but it's different. There are companies that are going to establish a competitive advantage by investing over the course of the last 4 months of this year in their future, and it will be evident in the first 6 months of next year. So I just want people to understand that as you start to if you start to see things like revenue dissipating or customers not coming back, that there are things that maybe you left undone, or there are things that you haven't done yet. And better yet, there's things that people across town or across the street have done and are investing in. It is that different today. This is different than it used to be because we all dealt with the same media and we had the same do for everybody something technologies that we used in marketing automation with CRMs and media buying, media analytics, social media. Those days are behind us. Those days are dwindling, and your ability to do things extremely custom and owned and proprietary for your business, focusing on what matters most, your business, you're going to start to see from performance, those who do and those who haven't yet really invest in that. That's what I think the end of the year is going to be about. Sure, people need to make numbers work. They need to make their numbers work for the end of the year, but they also are going to capitalize on the things they can do in an automotive. I think these will be decisions they make before they go to NADA. I think these are decisions that they'll have half-baked before they go to NADA for sure, and then go to NADA to walk away saying they know which direction they're going to go. One of those two cases, they're going to say, I can't wait. I got to do it now. I need to be up and running before Christmas comes. I have two different clients that are saying that right now. And then I think there are others that are just going to say, I need 2026 to look a lot different than 2025. Therefore, you don't have the time to make a decision in January or February and then build something to be ready for the summer of next year. You need to invest in it now. And I think that's what That's what I think a lot of people are thinking, and I think it's what everybody should spend a little time thinking about doing in terms of being ready for whatever's next.